Hello, and welcome back to Unbecoming, the podcast for women navigating heartbreak, reinvention, and the quiet, powerful work of rebuilding a life after a divorce or the loss of a significant relationship. I'm your host, Tricia Rago, a certified conscious uncoupling and conscious relationship coach. This is episode number 5, What is Conscious Uncoupling? And this show exists for one reason, because who you are becoming is so much more powerful than what you've been through. Let's start with a question. What if the end of a relationship didn't have to feel like the end of your story? What if a breakup or a divorce didn't have to leave you feeling shattered, bitter, or permanently defined by what went wrong? What if instead it could become the doorway to your deepest healing, your greatest self-understanding, and the next chapter of your life? Most of us were never shown that possibility. We're taught that when a relationship ends, someone wins, someone loses, and everyone carries the emotional wreckage forward. But there is another way. It's called conscious uncoupling. And today, I want to explain what conscious uncoupling is, why it matters so much, and how it can change the way you move through one of the most painful experiences of your life. Conscious uncoupling is a structured, compassionate process for healing and for transformation after the end of a romantic relationship. It was developed by therapist Catherine Woodward Thomas, who wrote the book, Conscious Uncoupling, 5 Steps to Living Happily Even After, and is based on the idea that breakups and divorces can become opportunities for profound personal growth rather than lifelong emotional wounds. Because the truth is, when relationships end unconsciously, we often carry forward a lot of resentment and shame and self-blame. Also anger and very painful stories about ourselves. Stories like, I'm just not lovable, or I chose the wrong person again, and I've wasted years of my life. These stories quietly shape the way we approach our future relationships, and even how we see ourselves. Conscious uncoupling helps you release those stories and understand the deeper lessons that the relationship was there to teach you, not in a blaming way, but rather in a liberating way. I often explain conscious uncoupling using a very simple metaphor. Imagine your relationship was a house you built with your former partner. For a time, you lived there together. You created memories there. You decorated it with dreams and with plans, laughter, and maybe even a family. But now the time has come to leave that house. Most people leave relationships like they're running out of a burning building. They grab whatever they can, slam the door, and carry the smoke and chaos with them for years. But conscious uncoupling invites you to do something different. Instead of running away from the house, you walk through it slowly. You look at every room. You understand what happened there, what happened in each of those rooms. You gather the things that still belong to you, your wisdom, your growth, your truth. And then you leave the rest behind, not with bitterness, but with clarity, so that when you build your next home, your next life, you bring only what truly serves you. Because heartbreak doesn't just end relationships. It shakes our sense of identity. And many of the women that I work with say things like, I don't know who I am anymore. I thought this was my life. I don't even know how to start over. And none of that is weakness. This is what happens when a relationship becomes intertwined with your sense of self. Conscious uncoupling helps you to gently untangle that. It allows you to understand your patterns and to reclaim your voice. It helps you to release the blame and the shame and rediscover the woman you are becoming, not the woman you were before, but the wiser version of you that exists now. So you might ask the question, what makes conscious uncoupling different? Many people believe healing after a breakup simply means getting over it. But conscious uncoupling isn't about rushing past the pain. It's about transforming it. Instead of asking what or why did this happen to me, you begin asking, what is here to teach me? Instead of staying stuck in resentment, you begin reclaiming your power and your responsibility for your own growth. And that shift is incredibly freeing, because once you understand your patterns and your own emotional landscape, you stop repeating the same painful dynamics. You begin choosing relationships and a life from a much more conscious place. Before we finish today, I'd like to offer you a short reflection. So if it's safe to do so, please close your eyes and take a long, slow breath. And ask yourself this question. What part of this relationship still lives inside of me? Maybe it's anger, or maybe it's grief. Maybe it's a story about yourself that still hurts very much. Now, ask yourself a second question. What might this experience have come into my life to teach me, to show me? You don't have to force the answer. Sometimes wisdom comes slowly, but simply asking the question begins the healing. Because when we shift from, why did this happen, to, what can I learn from this? We begin moving from heartbreak toward transformation. So if you're listening to this today and you're navigating the end of a relationship, I want you to hear something very clearly. The end of your relationship does not mean the end of your story. in many ways, it may be the beginning of the most honest, powerful chapter of your life. Conscious uncoupling is not about pretending that heartbreak doesn't hurt. It's about making sure that the pain you've experienced becomes wisdom instead of baggage, and that you carry forward your strength, not your wounds. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. And if this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who might need to hear it. And remember, who you are becoming is more powerful than what you've been through. Until next time, this is Unbecoming.